we're nearing the end of the legislative session. We have about 3.5 weeks to go. I thought I'd give you an update of where we stand. This week we were very busy on the House floor. This was a week where we took up omnibus bills. So at the very start of the week, we took up the Health and Human Service omnibus bill, passed off the House floor, mostly a partisan bill, which was unfortunate. But we did have some pretty good things in there given a negative budget target, which meant we had to find some reforms. The governor's staff has worked very hard over the interim finding reforms. We found some of those, which allowed us to spend a little bit of money focused on runaway youth, disabled dental. I have a provision in there that we've been working on with Hiawatha Homes in our district. And other dentists. Also, we have still some language in there for early intervention and identification of children with autism, and still working on that insurance mandate piece. But all in all, I think we did fairly well given the negative budget target. We have work to do here in conference committee with the Senate on that, and we are hoping at the end of the day we get a little bit more money to spend, as we are hearing from people that cutting in the Health and Human Service budget is detrimental to citizens and our state. We then took up the E12, the K-12, we heard called, well now it's E12, Early Childhood through 12 Education Bill. I think people feel very good about that bill. It had some bipartisan support. It was really focused on early childhood and all-day kindergarten. The governor had been talking about wanting to spend money there, and indeed we have. Also getting a career and college-ready workforce. There was a lot of work done between the education department and the university, and particularly MnSCU, and what we need to do to have kids ready for their careers in college, that a cookie-cutter approach with a cut score on a single test perhaps is not the best way to make certain that we have our students graduating and ready for what they choose to do next. So a lot of work was done, had very strong support in the education industry. The Chamber of Commerce did have some concerns because they do like to see a cut score in order for children to graduate, but that is not in there at the current time. Then we took up the tax bill on Wednesday. So always a controversial bill, and as one might imagine, also extremely partisan almost every year. But I think we have a really good tax bill this year. Yes, it does raise income taxes on the top 1%, and we were hearing that it would affect small businesses, and looking into that further, we find out that 3.3% of S-corps will be affected. But other than that, 95% or more of our state is not affected by this increase. There will be property tax refunds for almost all of us, roughly over $200 a household. So I think folks will really appreciate that. There's some good LGA for our cities and our counties so that they can continue to run the services they need to support us. That's in the bill too. And most importantly, I think to our community, the Destination Medical Center provision stayed in. It is quite strong, a little different than the Senate's version, but the whole tax bill, of course, is now going to head into conference committee, and we'll learn a little bit more about that next week, but anticipating Destination Medical Center to remain in that bill even to the end of session when the governor signs the bill. We also took up the transportation bill. That didn't take quite as long on the floor, and again was one of those really nice bills, as was the higher education omnibus bill, which we just stepped off the floor having finished. Both had bipartisan support. So I would say the higher ed bill put some money in both MnSCU and the University of Minnesota, but they did it in such a way that it was targeted right towards student tuition and keeping that low. So I think that will be appreciated by students certainly, and their families who are picking up the tabs on ever increasing higher education costs. So all in all, we've had a very busy week. We're taking up some smaller bills. We took up I think 8 or 9 extra bills today just off the House floor, and again most of those are bipartisanly supported, and it's nice when we can work together and not be butting heads quite so often up here at the legislature. So I always enjoy days like today when we can see some of that bipartisan support for bills. We'll have one more day on the House floor tomorrow. I think it won't be a long day. Some of our days end up into the wee hours of the morning. I think we were on the floor for some of our bills this week, 8 hours. I think one day we were on the floor for 12 or 13 hours. Today was a little bit less. We're getting done just about the dinner hour, and tomorrow I anticipate the same. It'll be one of the last weekends we have a chance to go home, I think, before the session ends, because conference committees now pick up. We'll be doing that negotiating with the Senate, and then the last 2 weeks we'll be taking up those conference committee reports, taking them to the floor for a vote. We'll see some policy omnibus bills moving in the next week too. But all in all, busy time up here at the Capitol. It's feeling pretty good. And I hope folks at home are keeping track of what's happening and feeling good as well. Please feel free to be in touch with me, either on the phone or email. Second Saturday Coffee will be May 11th. Hopefully I'll be able to sneak home in the morning for an hour to meet with you. Until next time.